Hello, everyone. I've been watching all of you come on, and I feel like we're all playing together here a lot lately. So that's fantastic. Um, yeah, so I hope you're doing well and ready to set your intention for this session. And yeah, here we are. So let's just take a moment and take a deep breath. And I'm very curious about what's going to come through tonight. I feel deeply peaceful after having taken a really nice afternoon rest from running errands and so forth. And so hopefully this will be like a beautiful meditation. We'll see what comes through. And of course, as you know, your intention drives the session as we connect. And those of you that are taking the subtle body communication uh, class with me, then you're going to be tracking on the energies yourself and receiving, hopefully, your own impressions, as we all are, of course, but even more so attuned to the frequencies that are going to come through tonight. So let's just take a moment focusing on your third eye, your heart, the palms of your hands, and setting up the intentional field for that which is of our highest collective, individual and collective expression. And to bring in any frequencies that bring in calm and peace, as I feel like we have just gone through a fairly major gateway into self empowerment. It's kind of a strange feeling, but it's sort of like walking through jello into a different kind of energetic terrain. Getting unstuck from things in a gentle kind of way. So just take a moment, drop into the field, and set your intention. And as you're setting intention, I'm holding space. And the energy is already starting to come in. I just asked the question internally of the guides, what do we need to know as a force of light here in present moment? I know for me, and I see Tony's on the in the session with us. She and I have both been researching Kazakhstan uh, on the both the energetic and logistics level, and I'm learning a lot about that part of the world and about the land and the people, and just it's like anything when you start to project your energy into the future and you start looking and seeing different things, that begins to change not only you but what you're interacting with. So hopefully, as we are all going through these monthly communions with higher realm beings, we are being enlivened with higher bandwidths of frequency as we are taking in the information and the frequency. So with that, I'll just take a listen here, take a look, and if you have any intentions, please let me see that in the chat. Otherwise, I am going to just pay attention, and my little screen just went blank, so I'm not going to touch it again, and hopefully everybody can still see me. So with that, so these are the master teachers and guides. They're saying that as we are recognized in the reality of life and living, is the waveform of 2042 has just come upon you. as a collective. You are seeing your way through the maze, through the awareness of that which was before and that which is becoming. They're saying that as we are recognizing in this awareness that many of us are receiving higher vibrational guides, new way showers, if you will. I was about to say master teachers, but the master teachers are still very present. They're saying that as we are recognizing in the reality of our life and living, as we shall go and as we shall see and as we shall fully orchestrate the changes that shall come our way, that we shall begin to come into a waveform of light and wisdom where the adamatine particles, the consciousness particles that comprise us as individuals and as a collective, we will begin to understand what shape-shifting is all about. And shape-shifting in the highest waveform is about life as life, life before life, and life after life. They're saying the soul, the essence of a soul prior to an incarnation, portends a death of sorts. There is an understanding, a waveform of light that envelops the soul. There's a well-wishing, there's a preparation, a time of preparation in the upper worlds, in the viewing room, and there's a decision, a focus on the decision to incarnate, when, where, and under what circumstances. And then we as a collective, there are thousands upon thousands of souls, like they're showing me like the pollen from the trees just blowing in the wind as we begin to incarnate our waveform. The adamatine particles begin to shift and morph. And then we have that period of gestation time, let's say, when we decide whether this is really where we want to be, how we want to be, how we, even at that point, how we want to be in this world. We have a choice. They're saying that we have a choice all along the way, of course, but once we start to merge and to become a part of human nature, the feeling of the intensity of the decision that a soul will have made begins to merge with the decisions that one has made prior to the incarnation. And they're saying that as we move along in these frequencies, we are being gifted with the transmutations of many different waveforms of light that we encounter, many different qualities of frequencies that help us to understand not just God consciousness that we are, but how to manifest our higher vision reality upon this planet. They're saying that it wasn't until about the late 1920s into the 30s that souls began to incarnate for the express purpose of beginning to understand the manifested reality, the power of the soul to manifest through human consciousness. And they're saying, and now we are in that waveform. We're in that time where we have been born or birthed from souls that were infused with that wisdom, that knowledge. And we are in that time of great manifestation, of understanding. It's becoming more of a practice, or for some of us, it's a second nature. We've already moved through that sort of plodding along kind of feeling, the learning, the stepping, the feeling like we're moving through thick mud to get to an understanding that is inherently who we are and what we are. And they're saying the gateways that are opening, that many souls are exercising their choice, have exercised their choice, and are exercising their choice in present moment, because the frequency of the planetary grid system is upshifting dramatically once again. It's soft, it's gentle, and yet it's swift in its awareness to almost conceivably to take our breath away with the magnificence of the waveform. They're saying that as we are recognizing in this awareness of our life and living, that as we begin to identify our essence with our form and our form with our essence, and begin to understand that as the beings of light begin to walk among us, which they actually already are, but we begin to see that. So in our reality, it's as if the flashing universe, what was not before, becomes present within us. And we begin to recognize that masters walk among us, and that many of us are masters walking among the masses. All this means is that we are mastering the elements. We understand the natural world. We are making peace with what it looks and feels like to be in form. And we are beginning to understand and travel along the Telluride lines. And the ley lines of this Earth grid system are electromagnetic in nature, as in magnetic. And magnetics is a very important piece of our present future, because we're beginning to understand the amplitudes of potential in the use of magnetic therapy, magnetic for producing energy, waveform for bending light, for time travel, the time travel machines that are being employed now, that are non-destructive, are built with magnetics. And they're saying that as we are recognizing in this awareness, our body essentially is magnetic. Taking a sip of water here, being reminded that water is very magnetic. They're saying that as we recognize in this awareness of our life and living, that as we shall go and as we shall see and as we shall fully orchestrate the changes that shall come our way, that we shall understand all is quite well, you see. That's very interesting, because I was having kind of trouble holding that transmission. I couldn't tell where it was actually trying to take me and what it was trying to show me. And in reality, after I was able to just close my eyes and allow more of the frequency to flow through me, it's sort of like it doesn't matter what I'm really saying. What matters is I'm allowing the frequency to flow through. And so what they're showing me is a tremendously beautiful outpicturing of what the earth kingdoms look like in our future. This is not far in the future. This is, I'm just internally asking, how far into the future? So yes, they're saying we shall not allow for nuclear holocaust. We shall not allow the warmongers to destroy this planetary system. You must command the forces of light. So what they're showing me, and we are in a merged timeline, but what they're showing me is the warmongering that's going on right now with all of the explosives and missiles. There is a potentiality to escalate for some, how do you say, some crazy person to actually begin to put forth and believe that the world, that the need to be right is more important than the ecosystem of the world and the people in the world. That the need to be right, and these are not the usual players, if you will. We don't know these players. These feel like off-planet beings to me that are influencing the weak-minded, the weak-hearted, the lion-hearted, the the matrix of light from embodied ones. We can point to a centralized or a single leader or grouping of leaders, and they're saying the most off-balance, insidious actions among us have not been committed by those that are out front and center. It's always by the energy, the shadow, the underbelly, the inverted light that that influences that kind of behavior. And there is a magnetic pull that brings about this kind of implosion of light. And it is an implosion of light, but not the way we might think about it. And so they're saying that you, speaking of all of us and light groups around the world, we are not to push our energy to thwart such a dynamic. We are to open our energy systems like a flower and live the path, walk the path of our collective highest expression of our future. That the inversions of light shall unwind themselves as those among us begin to, to understand the awareness of the heart of humanity combined with the star races. The star races are seeking unification. So this is a way bigger picture than what we think of. We are thinking very tight. They're saying, let go of the tightness of your mind and recognize that the unification of the star races are at hand. They're saying this is eons in the making, and the Earth is the playground, the focal point for which these dynamics were decided to come back together in oneness, and that the various star races sent their emissaries, sent those ones. It's sort of like getting an image of sending gladiators into the ring to fight it out, so that the people don't have to bludgeon each other to death. They fight it out. They fight to the death in some cases, and then it became very perverted. But they're saying in today's world, the dynamic of someone needing to be right at the expense of the whole planetary system shall not stand. And it is the light groups around the world, the embodied ones, as we recognize our power to manifest. This is how this all threads together. Thank you very much. To manifest a completely different dynamic. And they're saying it's almost as if and there are those among us that understand how to clean up toxic waste, how to clean up radioactivity, how to convert the plastic of the ocean, the damage that's been done to our environment, to clean up the pollution of the mind. The airwaves, as we are experiencing, are tremendously polluted. The very waveforms that we're communicating here, for instance, as benign as this might feel and as magical, is changing the environment. How could it not? And they're saying that there shall come a day where we shall no longer need these devices, because our heart of hearts, as we project and begin to travel through the light tunnels and understand that there is an ecosystem, a communication system that is already present and has always been present, except for a time where the warring factions of these star tribes had blocked communication and put Earth in a quarantine. The Earth herself is opening up, and new souls are coming into the planet. They are preparing to come into the planet. The precursors of the great waves of philosophers and scientists carrying codes of light to help humanity to fully awaken and to cause the self-regeneration of the Earth's ecosystem, are preparing to enter into the earthen plane, and it shall be triggered by our capacity to command the forces of light. They're saying that we are to deeply listen to what is ours to do and to be in this state of awareness there shall be many, and I'm hearing the order of Melchizedek is one of them. Kathumi's influence is quite another. And of course, the Elohim and the angelic beings that minister to the masses shall be on the ready. They're saying that as we are recognizing in this awareness of our life and living, that we shall move and we shall do the dance of life in a way that shall be with ease and grace. They're saying that as we are recognizing in this reality of this moment in time, we have this intense period of time that we perceive as time. And I feel like we've, or I can only speak for myself, I've just kind of passed through that sort of gelatinous magnetic pull on my system, and I'm coming out of that. And the whole of humanity, those of us that are in that space of awareness, that are extricating ourselves from the mass hysteria that is that the sky is falling and the world is not of our choosing, and that it's coming apart at the seams because of these sociopathic tendencies of these human beings that are controlled by a very different kind of star species that want to greatly reduce the Earth's population and continue to dumb down, I'm going to say, and cause frenetic energy to be generated for producing fear, which is a great frequency apparently, and it also subjugates the masses and it causes sheer terror. That is a thought form, and that is a way of creating that has been on this planet for eons, and that is what's leaving. That is the whole awakening process, that we are one, we are God consciousness manifesting, and we are sovereign beings of light. And when we recognize that, our rescue mission, we are not here as a rescue mission, and yet we are to honor the children. The innocence of a child is what is so much at stake. There is an entire understanding that the children of this world must be brought back into balance, to be protected, to protect their innocence, to bring them up in an environment where they're not drugged and chemicals put in their body. They're to be in nature. They're to be allow their God-given consciousness that they indeed, as their masters embodied walking, have the best opportunity to flourish. And there are many, many, many cultures around the world that understand this inherently, and the getting more things and more technology, more bells and more widgets to play with is not the answer. It only creates dependency. And they're saying that we must pull away from all of that, and bring the consciousness of a child, allow the consciousness of a child to play in the woods, to be in nature, to not to be so programmed, because the nexus of where we are 2026 to 2029, that's the most chaotic, intense. How do you say? It's like we've already decided, but many people haven't. They're quite confused about their empowerment, and so they're saying that as we command the forces of light forward into the right alignment with our heart of hearts, then the star races that are seeking unification, that are seeking to upshift the waveform, it's like we're there, we're already there on the other side. It is the magnification of the light, of the awareness of that which is standing in the 0 point, staying in the 0 point, and staying neutral, positive, as all things are to be in balance. So they're showing me this symbol behind me. If one part of that sacred geometry of the whole of the grid system is out of balance, the whole system feels it. We're all feeling the wobble effect in some way or another. And yet at the same time, the bulk of the whole of humanity is primarily in balance. It's just the parts of this wholeness that are out of balance feel grossly out of balance. It's because the whole of humanity is really and truly on the soul level in balance. There is innate oneness that souls coming in have not fallen into slumber. They're not asleep. They're quite aware of what is occurring in the world and what their choice is. And yet the percentage that are choosing to stay asleep shall go by the way of an alternate dream or an alternate slumber and shall be carried along. They're showing me a beautiful angelic being made of gossamer wings carrying a little one across the threshold. And the little one is just asleep, peacefully asleep, not even aware that something in the world is not right. That's the choice of the soul being exercised. And so they're saying it's very important for us when we witness the events of the world, recognize the soul has made a choice, is making a choice, and to honor the choice of each and every individual, because the dynamics of our world are dramatic right now, and they're going to get even more dramatic pretty much on all fronts. And the more that we hold to what we desire to experience is to the direct measure of how we move through this. And they are showing me as a waveform, and like an airplane taking off and heading for the skies, while at the same time the subterfuge in training to come into the direct alignment with the forward movement of humanity. And again, this is not a timeline per se. This is a natural evolutionary shift that is being experienced because of the star elders coming into our galactic neighborhood, if you will, and making their presence known to more and more. So they're saying that we shall recognize many more aberrations of visions, of knowings, of the concept of mental health, mental wellness, emotional wellness shall become a thing of the past. We will stop naming psychosis as such. We will begin to understand that the human consciousness is de-stressing, is being hardwired in a very different way. And so the solutions of such are vibrational, they're frequency-based approaches to health and wellness. And so the human race is catching up very quickly through visitations, through understandings, through those that have gone to the other side and made choice to come back and tell the others that it is safe and that there's hope and promise in the world of the human race. And yet we as beings of light, we're here to impact change. We're here to change and transform human consciousness as we are embodied, as we are coming into a very strong state of homeostasis within ourselves. And we are recognizing, there's such a very impetuous teenager kind of energy of a light being here wanting to, I want to come in, I want to feel what it feels like to be human. Like, hello, it's like a grasshopper kind of feeling. Very energetic. Sorry about that. I guess it's the demonstration that consciousness is really very permeable, the projection of thought and especially intention, to be embodied and to be of the light as one is of the light, to take on any shape and form as one wishes. So this brings me back to their opening statements about the consciousness particles, the animatine particles, as we are upshifting in our frequency and our body mind continuum, is beginning to integrate and catch up with that which is and that which is presenting. It is an activation sequence of the body mind proper that is needing to power down, needing to find rest and restitution as the work is being done, needing to have deep rest for the dream state, for the rewiring of the brain function, to come into a strong awareness of the changing spectrum of color, for instance, on this planet, and to spend time in nature as your best, I'm going to say, way to allow the body mind consciousness to catch up, if you will, and to accept. It's like waking up from a dream state and recognize what you were dreaming was a dream, and the reality of the world, the morning that you've awakened to, is the reality. But in this case, the dream state of what you're being connecting to and being brought to is actually the reality, and what you wake up to is the dream state. In the metaphorically is the choice that you make to live in this way, to live in the way that you were, to hold on to past perceptions and beliefs about the world, or to embrace the reality of what each moment brings to you. And so they're saying that as you are recognizing in this awareness of life and living, it is not a matter of praying for peace. It's a matter of becoming peace, embodying peace. It's not a matter of wishing for a different outcome. It's a matter of living in that different outcome. And it's not a matter of waiting for someone to say or do, say a leadership position. It's a matter of you saying and you doing in whatever that way is in your life, recognizing that the adamantine particles on a collective consciousness level, the dots are already connecting. And many of us begin to believe that our concepts and ideas about this life are unique and they're separate, and no one would understand. But in reality, because we're not allowing ourselves to embody that fully, it's like we've taken half of a breath and we have yet to take a full breath, and to recognize that not only is our sense of the world not unique, it's unique to what we're experiencing, but it's a common kind of feeling that people are coming to, that the world has shifted, and the reality, the present, the past is no longer, the present is morphing and shifting, and we're stepping into what would have been perceived as the future, to the point that by the time we get into the next phase of this morphing kind of phenomena, we will not have a memory. We will not be able to go back into what was before. It'll feel as though fairly distant, familiar, but we just can't recall what was before. That's because from a frequency standpoint, we are not. That world has been diminished. It's dissolving. And so the thought forms that create that world, the adamantine particles, the consciousness particle that created the world before, is no longer. It's changing. Even the past, as you remember back to the past, you're not going to be able to recall those more frenetic frequencies, because they're not going to be there. They're flushing through the consciousness field as we speak. And those that are, quote unquote, terrorized by what they see or what they experience are the souls that are making the decision that it is indeed time to upshift into a different form. And so they are, once they make that decision, off they go. So they're saying that as we are recognizing in this awareness of our life and living is to know that all is quite well. I'd like to explain some of the things that I'm seeing as this energy is presenting, and I'm speaking as a through, and you're noticing my throat closing up because my human nature is reacting to what I'm seeing. It's a contrast. It's real life. It's the future outpicturing and present outpicturing of what I see and what I could point to. That, for instance, in the news and what's happening in present moment, and the direction of what the potential direction is all about. And they're saying this is what your human consciousness does. Hence my throat. It's like I'm resisting. I don't want to see those things. I don't want to be in those spaces where I quote unquote go there. And yet what they're saying is that is all part of the body mind's ability to integrate that energy, that frequency. So there's a couple things happening here. One is I'm being shown the images, and two, inside of me, I'm saying, well, what do I do with that? What do I acknowledge it, I see it, but at the same time, there's this, again, talking about the adamantine particles, the consciousness particles. Do I hold that in my system? And they're saying, no, breathe it out. Breathe a new way forward out. So in the moment that I am connecting with those images as this speaking is taking place, in that moment, once I understand it, I have a choice to make a different choice on things. So instead of focusing on what is, because it's a past, I am to focus on opening my system up and allowing myself to breathe in a very different kind of waveform. I don't know if this is making sense to you, but it's like seeing something that is very tragic and very heart-wrenching, and in that moment, jumping in to do something about it. I'm seeing an image of, say, a car wreck. You come by, you see what's happened, it's just happened, and you one is you're shocked, and at the same time, you spring into action. You're guided to either stay still and say a prayer to spread light, or you spring into action to go and to be of help. And then, with all that being said, with all the action that might take place, or simply staying and being present, it's the aftermath of what you experience. Those are all energies. Even though you might have been in shock, you might have felt this surreal energy guiding you, your body's consciousness still has to integrate what is. And that's really what's happening with humanity right now, and with all of us. When we see images, when we have an experience, and when we witness something, my teacher used to always say that if you even see a violent act or a thought, or hear somebody say something terrible or something mean, it's like it is happening to you because you have shared space. And so the awareness is not to block it, but to bless it, to bless what's happening, and to ask for an intervention, to ask for help, and to ask what is mine to do. And so then, as the sort of like the waveform washes through the body's consciousness, because the body's consciousness is what's housing all of this, then we have the capacity within us to clear the frequencies. And just me talking about this and actively feeling my body and willing the frequencies to flow through me, that's what's happening now in present moment. And they're saying this is a microcosm of what the waveform that they're talking about that we're in right now. And they're saying it's not meant to harm us, it's meant to teach us how to manifest, how our consciousness as a soul, when we first incarnate, adapts to the human condition. And here we are, we're on the other side of our lives in the sense that we've had lots of practice in life and we've experienced so much. And we have the master elements, the Elohim, the master teachers, the etheric beings guiding us, and nature to envelop us. And we are here as masters walking, making decisions on how we wish to manifest our consciousness on earth. They're saying you have no idea how powerful you are. You have been given the keys to the kingdom. And you have unlocked five of these keys to the kingdom. We have walked you through the unlocking of these keys within yourself. And now we're inviting you to walk through the gateway, the master gateways that unlock the cycle of death and rebirth in this planetary system, and choose to express life into life, form into a higher form, state of awareness into a higher state of awareness. The manifestation of the cities of light, for instance, are already on this earth, and they have been held in abeyance for you, speaking of all of us, to embody, to embrace. I'm hearing the words on my left side, a little bit on my right, in a cacophony of song. As you are in your master's house, you are in your father's house, and we are here together, and we are here to learn, and we are here to be. We are protected in this, and as we walk as our Father instructs us, and as our Mother guides us, loves us, honors us, we remember as souls coming from varying different planetary systems, as we are here to unify the star races within us. And we are doing this through one family of humanity, recognizing that we have various cultures and regions that we've been born into. We seemingly on the outside look different, but within us, we are hardwired to love and to be loved. And many of us have been bruised and battered about and separated, but that code inside of us, like a salmon swimming back to its birthplace to spawn and to grow new life, we all have that great seed of light in us, and to blossom and to grow. And so humanity in a way is being sort of pressured and squeezed vibrationally, because we are here and we are birthing into a much higher waveform of light, higher intelligence, higher consciousness. We are understanding that we don't have to go and hide in a cave and meditate for 50 years to become enlightened, so that we walk the earth. We are in form, and we are here to manifest through our form and imbue light everywhere with great compassion. And so they're saying that we are here to receive the children. We are here to receive the children from star races that have been waiting to come and have their turn at the human condition, and to begin to act as world servers. And many of these children are prophets from before. It's almost like there's a new reincarnational sort of cycle beginning in a much different kind of way. And so this will continue to be a school of learning here on this earth, but this will be a place for the innovators, the technologists, those that are understanding about the creation of new life, of new thought forms in this realm of light. And they're saying that the individuals that are wanting to contract the light to in a very dramatic way and cause death and destruction of the human condition, uh, they will not be able to sustain that frequency because it will implode upon themselves. So, contrary to what it appears on the surface, rather than blowing up parts of the world and causing death and destruction of large swaths of people, they themselves implode because no one is going to be able to contain that kind of density because of planetary upshift in frequency. And so they're saying we're to hold steady, we're to be very clear and purposeful in the way that we create, and to treasure one another, to be aware of the forces of light on this planet that are working to help each and every one of us open to a much higher state of awareness, and to be at peace, and to love, purely love self and love one another, and look past all that wobble, that intensity, and that it feels like kind of sticky, gooey stuff that tries to keep us ensnared in those lower thought forms, and simply shine our light. So, with that, this teenager, I'm just asking, okay, so where are you? Where are you? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll describe who this being is, and he's saying it feels like he's a young, maybe eight, equivalent of like an 8 to 10 year old, and he's saying, I'm you. I'm you. I'm your, sort of like I'm your counterpart on the other side, and I'm here to you said you wanted to play. You said you wanted, your intention this year is to play, and I've come here to teach you how to play. You have no idea how to play. You forgot how to play. You think you're a grown up, but you're not really a grown up. You're a light. You're a light, and the light gets to dance against the night sky. And so he's showing me all kinds of images of all the things that I know that I love to do, which I love to kayak, and I love to be on the water, and I love to be in nature. So he's saying, come on, let's go play. So here we are, guys. I guess that's the end of the transmission here for tonight. So let me ask you this, with your intention that you've set for yourself and for what you'd like to better understand, let's sit in the quiet, if you will, and take in your intention, and have you manifesting, if you will, opening your energy system to manifest that sense of joyousness and oneness in your life, and see what kind of help and how enlivened your energy system becomes. And of course, be careful what you wish for. I feel like I'm going to giggle my way all the way through the evening now. So just take a moment and ask that question of yourself. What is it that I need to know and see in this very moment? And what would I like to experience more of? In a way, your guides already know what the answer to that question, but the exercise is more to bring focus to yourself. They're saying yes. They're saying it's really important to understand magnification of the higher frequencies of love and joyousness. Oneness is a rarefied commodity on this planet, and yet the light is so bright, so bright. It's never been brighter before, which makes it appear that the darkness seems even darker, because the light on this planet is so much brighter than it ever has been. And if you're getting a new guide, that's a wonderful thing. If your energy is shifting, as mine is, I feel like inside of me a bunch of jumping beans. Accept the gift that you are being given, and it'll take you into different realms, different ideas. And mostly it'll just help you to feel more like yourself. This is making sense to you. And did you feel an energetic shift in your system? That'd be fun to know. So, with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure watching and feeling all these energies and the magnetics, how important magnetics is. The future of this planet and the sense of health and well being is all about magnetics, and frequency based medicine is the way forward. So, with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you're going to join me at 8:15 in the community dialogue space, fantastic. I look forward to seeing you then. And until then, you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks so much.